Right, and we're on is the Reds cast. Do you know what? It feels good to be speaking after a win. It felt like last season, Steve. Every time we spoke, we were getting beat, but starts the season with 3 points. Fantastic performance, really, weren't it?
Start as we mean to go on, mate, top of the league. Joint.
Exactly.
But, we'll be there. We'll be there all along.
I think that I do think that. Like I've said to loads of people, I'm more confident of us winning the league this year than I was when we actually won the league going into the season.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So because we had that season where we won the league and we were just unbelievable, we've got all these players back. And I just don't see it being any different.
It's it's mad to think about it. Like
I know. Especially after that Norwich game as well. That it was just like business as usual, wasn't it? We just played. I mean, we weren't particularly like sensational or anything, were we? We just went about our business and just brushed them aside like it was nothing.
yeah, and I mean when the team got announced, I seen a midfield too of Diox and Keita. I mean, Keita's impressed me in pre-season, but I just thought, I just hope they get through the game like unscathed. And I mean, I wasn't. It's Norwich, you know what I mean. You can try things against teams like Norwich, with all due respect to them. But I was just when I seen the teams announced, I was just a bit like, ooh, that's a midfield. I've not.
And it was Milner as well, wasn't it? Like Milner was the one that like none of us even we never even put him in our plans when we were like discussing that who we think we were going to play. Milner's
No,
name never even come up.
no, Milner's name never came up at all for me. When I was thinking about who I wanted in that midfield. So I was surprised at that, but he put a shift in, didn't he?
Yeah, I seen it. That come out after the weekend. He like of all the players in the Premier League that weekend, he ran the furthest
Did
in
he? Yeah.
all games, like all players. Yeah, it was like 12 point something kilometers or whatever the hell it was. But yeah, he ran more than any other player that weekend.
How old's he? 34, 35.
He's yeah, he's too old to be running that far every weekend. Like I know that.
I mean, when you delve into his stats, if this wants to play ball with me, it's taking ages. But I looked at his stats where he ranks in like percentiles and that, and
Yeah,
he's ranking like in the 89th percentile for passes attempted, and I mean his pass completion's only 52%, but he's got like 92 percentile in progressive passes. He's got touches in the opposition box. He's in the 82nd percentile in the league.
really.
Yeah,
Jeez, you wouldn't expect that from him, would you?
and it's like his blocks. He's in the 99th percentile. Like he's people. I mean, I'll admit when the team got announced, I was like, oh, it's a bit grim starting the season with James Milner in midfield. Like how old he is. I mean, he's a good servant to the club and he's good to have around. But going into the opening game of the season, you want to see your strongest 11, really, don't you? And
Yeah, you do.
I looked into his stats and I was like, oh my god, Milner's like probably underrated by most Liverpool fans, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and I think I think that's our problem. We're quick to forget just how good James Milner is
Yeah.
because he's getting on a bit, and he'll have the odd game where he looks half a yard off the pace, and we've seen that last season, and it's starting to worry me a bit. But when you see what he did against Norwich, you're like, the guy's a machine. He's like he's one of, if not the fittest guy in that squad at his age. Like he did see all that pre-season, he did all them lactate tests and this test and that test, and he's always like top of everything. He's just an unreal athlete, and we're just so spoiled to have him. And I'm never going to take him for granted again. I love him.
Do you reckon this is his farewell season? No,
Um, possibly, possibly.
because
I
he
think he would like. I think he'd like to have another like immense season and go out on a high. I don't think he'll want to see himself sort of drift off and be remembered as the journeyman. I think he's going to want to be remembered as a legend. Like,
see, I think that myself. But then, how fit he is James Milner ready to retire next year? But then where does he go? Like, do you think he goes to America? Do you think he goes to Aston Villa, Leeds. Because he could probably play in the Leeds system, couldn't he? He's fit enough.
Yeah, but again, they play quite similar to us, don't they? And if his age and his fitness is starting to dwindle a little bit by next year, I think he's going to struggle just as much there as he would here. I don't know what's next for James Milner. Maybe a coaching role. Maybe he'll step into the backroom stuff.
I think it's good to have him round. I think he's one of the best people to have round at the club. He's a serial winner. He's won the Premier League at us. He's won it at City. He's won the Champions League. He's won everything English football has to offer, hasn't he? So
yes, and you seen was it last year or the year before? He turned up to one of the cup games where it was all the kids playing.
Yeah.
He wasn't even in the squad or anything. He was just there.
It was when we played Shrewsbury at Anfield. You know, when they tried to make us field. They tried to make us play the games, and it was like we was in Qatar, and then we played in I think it was the FA Cup when Curtis Jones captained us.
Right.
And Milner came and sat on the bench with all the kids, and it just goes to show how much of a professional he is, really, doesn't it?
I thought that was Villa. Wasn't that Villa? When Villa turned us over, was that game?
No, that was the one where Milner was on the bench with the kids was definitely the one at Anfield, and sure.
Yeah. I just didn't think that was when we were in Qatar. I think that was like the next round or the previous round or something. I'm sure when we went to Qatar.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it was Villa turned our kids over, and then I don't know why we played the kids when we played them all when we had sold out Anfield for all the kids against Shrewsbury. I can't remember why. Because it was just the kids, Jones.
But he was there anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there. Going back to the Norwich game. One thing that I was happy to see was out of the 19 shots we had, 8 of them was on target. Now that's a number we didn't usually see last season. We were getting 2s and 3s. So, what's changed?
Fans' mindset. I don't know what it was, but hopefully it continues because that was a massive concern last season, especially. We were playing teams. Was it West Brom?
Yeah.
And we peppered their goal with 20, 30 shots or something, and like 1, 2 on target, and it just wasn't good enough. Whatever they're doing, keep it going. Salah's finish, I thought, was lovely. Bobby Firmino, you're expecting to score from there. Diogo Jota reacted quite well to that. It was Salah who sort of took the touch off the Trent cross, didn't it? And it just fell into Jota's path.
Yeah.
Clinical, just took the goal. But these are the ones that you'd expect them to at least get on target. But last year they were flying over the bar and they were going everywhere but in the goal.
And one thing that in that game, though, for me was the fact that we was able to take someone like Jota off of that quality, but then he's getting replaced with a re-energised Bobby Firmino. Now Firmino in pre-season and even for the minutes he played against Norwich, he looks. I mean, I'm not preempting it, but he looks like he's Bobby again.
He looks hungry, doesn't he?
Do you reckon that's more? Now, I've always said Bobby Firmino with fans is a different Bobby Firmino because where his dip in form came from is the pandemic. There's been no fans. Now, Bobby's an entertainer. He's a Brazilian. He likes to entertain. He's a typical Brazilian player. And the fans have been back in for a few games in pre-season. The fans are back in. I know it was only a few thousand. I think it was 2,000 that we took to Carrow Road. But Bobby was just, his touches were fantastic. His runs he was making were phenomenal. And it was just like, I was watching it thinking, oh my God, like Bobby's back now. Klopp's going into Burnley thinking, who do I start? Like Bobby with a full Anfield is going to be different gravy, but then what's Jota like in a full Anfield?
Well, exactly. I think there's that part of Bobby where you think, the fans absolutely re-energise him. He's a different animal with the fans there, but then you've got the other side of it where his competition, Diogo Jota, started ahead of him and scored and played quite well. So he's then got to come on and go, actually, listen, I'm here as well. I want to be the main man. So it's good. It's good to have that competition because he hasn't really had that over the past few years.
Yeah. What did you make of the Ox's performance then? He got 61 minutes before Fabinho came on and replaced him. And then that was when we see Milner drop deeper into the holding midfield role. But he put in a good shift, didn't he, the Ox?
Did all right, yeah. They all did all right. Can't complain about any of them. They put in a shift. He didn't go missing. He was looking for the ball. He was trying to play passes. Quite impressed, yeah. Tell you who else I was impressed with as well, who I've been impressed with pre-season, Tsimikas. I thought he linked really well with Mane down that left.
Yeah, Tsimikas was a mad one for me because I liked him. I thought he was fantastic going forward. But what my worry was with Tsimikas was defensively. But then Trent's not the most amazing defensively, really, is he? Because he always gets moaned at going back. You see all the pundits moaning about Trent going back. So it's like, I wasn't overly worried. But then Robertson, for me, is that safety net when Trent is a little bit weak defensively. Robbo's strong defensively and strong going forward. But I was impressed with Tsimikas. I mean, he's got to play. He's probably going to play tomorrow. I think Robbo's back for the Chelsea game, which I'm happy about. As much as Tsimikas has impressed me, would you feel confident when I'm going into the Chelsea game?
To be honest, I'd feel more confident playing Tsimikas against Chelsea. Only not because he's a better player. He's not a better player. I just think it's a risk to rush Robertson back for a game of that magnitude.
He was. Do you think it was as serious as that was what people think it is? Because he was running after about a week.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the pictures of when he done it, and it looked horrific. Like it looked real bad. But to see him running is just unreal.
Do you know?
It must have been a little tweak rather than some serious damage. Because for him to be running this soon after an ankle ligament damage in it,
it's nasty.
Nasty. Nasty. It's so bad, and it's put me out for months.
Yeah.
But I'm not a professional athlete, so I'm a little bit different.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room then. Mr. Virgil van Dijk getting a full 90 minutes. I don't think anyone expected it. I don't think either of us put him in our predicted 11, did we?
I think I did.
I was trying to... Because I don't think I put him in mine, because I was adamant that I said, why risk him, didn't I? Yeah, you did, and I said, why risk him? And it's just mad, because I never expected him to get a full 90, because he didn't do a full 90 once in pre-season, did he?
No, he didn't. But he did get a full pre-season.
Yeah, true.
So obviously, looking at that last game, it wasn't really needed for him to be playing too many actual minutes pre-season. But he got the full, he got the full training camp in and all that. So that's obviously served him well. And like he looked pretty sharp. I think there was only one time where I seen Timo Pukki get in behind. Other than that, I don't think he really got. He wasn't really bothered by anyone, was he?
Did you go into the Burnley game with Van Dijk starting then?
Sure. Once Van Dijk's got that game under his belt, there's no going back.
He said that, didn't he, in a post-match interview? He said there was all the pressure was just on, and in his head and mentally it was more about playing again, because it was like, can my knee hold up if I play again? Along them lines, I don't know what it was word for word, but you can see how much it meant to him getting that full game under his belt. Now, Van Dijk's different gravy at Anfield as well.
He is. I've got absolutely, I mean, barring any horrific injuries, any bad luck with injuries, I can see no issues this season.
That's the thing, like, I've seen loads of people losing their mind on Twitter, and that's saying, like, we've signed no one. I know we touched on this last week, but do you know when you actually look at our squad, we're going into a season here where 80%, 85% of the players have had a full pre-season, a Jurgen Klopp pre-season, which is so intense, and it builds you up for the season. And they've done the full training camp, where that's so rare because players are usually coming back from international duty. But because of the injuries, we hardly had any players out on international duty. I think it was just Henderson, Thiago, I can't even think if we had
There was
anyone.
only a handful. There was only a
Yeah.
handful, if any. And we've not to say, people talking about the transfer market. We've tied down, a handful of our most important players. That is equally as important. And I think it looks like Salah might be next, hopefully. But you look at the players we tied down to longer term contracts. That's the stable. That's the bread and butter of our squad. You lose a few of them, and the whole thing changes. But we've got a good squad of players. We've got a good squad there of backup players. Maybe it's not as strong a squad as City, but I still think we'll outplay them for the season. I think we'll beat them.
Well, speaking of Mo Salah, there's rumours are he wants £400,000 a week. Now, I've seen people losing their mind saying why change your wage structure to pay him, and then I've seen sensible fans saying he literally he's in a world of his own, in a sense of he is the closest person to numbers wise to Messi in any league in the world. Now, Lionel Messi is the greatest player of all time. Mo Salah, I think in 93 games, has, I think it's about 30 less goal contributions than Messi. And he's second in terms of goals and assists contributions in the world. Now, that 100% rectifies Mo Salah as we've got a squad of players, but he's elite. He's next level, his numbers. He's arguably, I've done videos on it, he's arguably the greatest attacker Liverpool have had in the Premier League era. He's better
if you look at the numbers, you can't argue with it.
Yeah, statistically, he's better than Suarez. He's better than Torres. Don't get me wrong. Luis Suarez is the best person I've ever seen at Anfield, ever.
Yeah.
He's different gravy, but numbers-wise, Mohamed Salah's the best attacker we've had in the Premier League era, and people are still moaning about signings. If we can secure Salah with the rumoured contract until he's 33, you're getting Mo Salah at his prime, which is scary. Now, Mo Salah was a 1-season wonder. Now he's a 5-season wonder. He scored on 5 opening days of the Premier League. Now, we all know he's going to have a fantastic season. Everyone's writing him off, as per usual. I see an interview with that absolute clown on TalkSport saying that Mohamed Salah, he'd take Rashford and Greenwood over Salah. And then he starts... the one who does... I'll tell you now, right there. He's an absolute clown, and he said that said he'd rather have Greenwood and Andy Goldstein. Said he'd rather have Greenwood and Rashford over Salah, and then started trying to compare Mo Salah to Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane's a striker. Mohamed Salah's still got well more goals and assists than Harry Kane over the past 5 years from the wing, and I mean, FSG apparently I don't want to break the wage structure, which has served Liverpool so well, but you break the wage structure when players... If Mbappe came in, you break the wage structure for him because he's one of the best players in the world. Mohamed Salah's in that bracket. So you break your wage structure for him. Now, if we put Mohamed Salah on 400 grand a week, that also fills me with more confidence that Mbappe's doable. Because if he comes in and we offer him 400 grand a week, you're not upsetting your star man in Mo Salah because he's on the same wages.
I mean, I personally don't think FSG are going to make any sort of massive overhaul to the wage structure because, no one's bigger than the club. On the other hand, Mo Salah is a phenomenal talent, and you've got to do the best you can to keep hold of him. Where that balance is on the scale with FSG, I don't know. But we've got to keep him. We've got to keep him.
Well, what was Van Dijk's new contract? Surely that put it. I think his new contract. I think he was already on 200. That's surely got to put him on 200, 250 now. So, I mean, Van Dijk for me is the best player in the team, but Mohamed Salah's the one who's getting you the goals. That's going to win you the trophies. So, to
be honest, they're both equally as important in their own roles.
Yeah.
So, how do you put a price on, clean sheets over goals? I don't know where you would
I think that if Mohamed Salah gets a 400 grand a week contract, Virgil van Dijk's going to bounce into Mickey Edwards and say, I only signed 250.
that's the issue around the wage structure.
But I don't think he would.
I guess whatever he wants. No, because then you've got Jordan Henderson, who's the captain.
Hendo's
I want
well
to stop
down.
them.
On rumoured wages, Hendo's well down. Well down. On like above Henderson, rumoured, this obviously I don't know, I've never seen the contracts, but rumoured, Alisson, Fabinho, Firmino, Trent, Salah, Thiago and Van Dijk are all on more than Hendo. So I know he's obviously looking for a new contract, but rumoured Hendo's on 140 a week. And then Ali's on 150, Fabinho's on 180, Firmino's on 180, Trent's on 180, Salah's on 200, Thiago's on 200 and Van Dijk's on 220. So does Mohamed Salah warrant at 29 a £400,000 a week contract for 4 years? 100%. Into even just out of a sheer respect, let's be serious. Mohamed Salah has been the most informed attacker we've had for the past 5 years. He's won. I mean, obviously the whole squad's won as the Premier League and Champions League, but Mohamed Salah's been pivotal. Would we have won the Premier League or Champions League without Mohamed Salah? Probably
not. I just don't think FSG, if that's what Mohamed Salah or Mohamed Salah's agent is asking for 400k, I think we lose him. Unfortunately, I think that'll be the tipping point. I think they'll say, well, you're one of the best players in the world. We can't afford that, or we're not breaking our wage structure for that. Off you go, and it'll be a shame. But
when you look at it, though, looking at the stats now, in the last 365 days compared to other attacking midfielders and wingers, Mohamed Salah ranks in the 98th percentile for non-penalty goals, the 96th percentile for shots total, the 96th percentile for net goals per game and assists. He ranks in the 89th percentile for pass completion percentage, and 99th percentile for touches in the attack and penalty box, the 99th percentile for progressive passes. His stats are insane.
You can't. That's he's absolutely in that top bracket of 4 or 5 players in the world.
I mean, the only bad stats on Salah are his tackles and stuff like that. But you don't expect him to do that. I know he doesn't get back that much. I mean, his dribbles completed 43rd percentile, but I'm not bothered if he's not completing dribbles, if he's scoring the goals, and the stats are backing it up and the numbers are backing it up, and he doesn't take the pens. That's the thing. People always say, "Oh, Bruno." Not really. He ranks in the 98th percentile for non-penalty goals, so most of his goals are coming from non-pens. When the Liverpool get a pen,
that means we don't get that many penalties, but when we do, he's our penalty taker.
But we don't get any pens. So when you look at it next to people, that TalkSport idiot was going I'd rather have Bruno Fernandes. A, plays in centre mid for one, and B, Fernandez's numbers. If you take the penalties out, he's garbage. He's absolutely. I know he scored an hat-trick. He's been in the Prem for 18 months. And everyone's creaming the kecks about him because he scored an hat-trick. Salah scored how many of them?
Let's have it right. Bruno Fernandes is a good player, but he's not Mohamed Salah.
He's good. He's not as good as people make him out to be. He's good. Did I want him at Liverpool before he went to United? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But now he's at United. Has he set the Premier League alight? No. There's at least 5, maybe 10 midfielders in the league better than him. Central midfielders, 100%. And Liverpool have probably got a good few of them. Henderson's better than him, let's be serious. Thiago.
I'd take James Maddison over him.
What?
I'd take James Maddison over Bruno Fernandes.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I do like Maddison, but I just look at our midfield and think Thiago's arguably one of the best midfielders to ever play the game, and Henderson.
I'm talking about non-Liverpool midfielders. I wouldn't replace any of our lot with them.
The only centre mid from the Prem I'd take is Kevin. The only one I'd want. I don't think I could. I don't think I'm bothered about anyone else. But going into the Burnley game, who do you think's going to start? Do you reckon he's going to maybe stick with the centre-back pairing from the Norwich game, or do you think he's going to throw Konate in for the aerial height? I mean, Matip's huge as well, but I mean, do you think he'll stick Konate in for his Anfield debut? He's big, Burnley's a decent team to get them physically into the Premier League because they're quite physical, or
I think so.
or do you just stay with what you know?
No. I mean, it'll be a shame for Matip because he did nothing wrong. But I think going forward for the rest of the season, Konate along with Virgil van Dijk is your first choice centre back pairing. And if that is the case for Klopp, if that is his first choice centre back pairing, the sooner the better. Get him in together.
I don't know. I think 1 and 2 is Van Dijk and Gomez. My head's been shocked with it all summer, thinking like, why would we spend that amount of money on Konate if he's not coming in to start? And that's what I keep telling myself.
Mm-hmm.
But if Joe Gomez is fit, Joe Gomez for me and Van Dijk are probably the best pairing. I mean, I said it last week that Joel Matip is the second best centre back in the world when fit.
You said a lot of stuff last week, Matty.
And I 100% mean it. Joel, like when fit, Joel, there's genuinely nobody better than Joel Matip. If you ever look, have a little quick gang of his stats, he's in. It's just green. Basically, they are just green.
I remember that thing you sent me after the game, something about his win streak. He's only lost 1 in 60 something.
He's unbelievable. Like, he's absolutely unbelievable. Like, and he's compared to other centre backs, he's one of the best of assists. Do you know what I mean? Like, his progressive carries, he's in the 86th percentile. When he goes off on his little mad runs, he's unbelievable, and he's criminally underrated because he's not always fit. Now, the best way to manage Joel Matip is, I do think Konate will start on the weekend. If not Konate, Gomez, purely because the way to handle Joel Matip is he plays one game, rests a game, plays a game, rests a game. And we didn't have that luxury last year because of Van Dijk and Gomez's long-term injuries. So,
and Matip is there's certain players that need, continuity. They need game after game after game to get the form. Joel Matip's not one of them. He can come in and do a job, so we can play every other game.
Yeah, exactly. And with
times a month, whatever it might be.
And with the games coming up, we've got Chelsea next week. So where would I rather Joel Matip play? It would 100% be the Chelsea game over the Burnley game. Now, because I'm being realistic, I can't expect Joel Matip to play Norwich, Burnley and Chelsea because at some point within them 3 games he would get injured. Now, if you've got to pick one of the games in which you'd rather have him in, I'd 100% rather have Matip and Van Dijk going against Chelsea, especially when they've got Lukaku now.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I think Konate do quite well against Lukaku.
I don't rate Lukaku. I don't. Proper unpopular opinion. He's went to Italy and done all right, but he's not been great in the Prem. He was all right for Everton, to be fair to him. Is he?
You've seen him now compared to what he was when he was playing.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster.
Animal, isn't he?
But Chelsea have tried it before, and it doesn't fit their system either. He's not a pacey striker. He's just a big target man. Now we'd never get him. I'm not going to compare him to Benteke, but in terms of the role on the pitch, he plays a similar role to what Benteke would have in the Liverpool side. And Chelsea, for me, I think it shows that Werner's out the door. To be honest, because Pulisic is better than Werner on the left wing. But anyway, back to Burnley. Main threats, who do you reckon?
It's the same old, isn't it? Chris Wood. He's just that big lump up front. He's about the only real danger man they've got that might cause us an issue. But I think against Van Dijk and Konate, he's not going to get a sniff. Which is why I think them two are going to play. It's just a nuisance of a team. I think Klopp called them annoying in his interview the other day. He just said that they're annoying, which is probably going to have Sean Dyche spitting gravel in his pre-match dresser for Burnley because he doesn't like that sort of stuff, does he?
No, but did you watch them last week? I only seen the highlights like on Match of the Day. But they surprised me a bit because they were quite attacking.
Right, okay. Who did they play last week?
They got beat by Brighton. I mean, I said, I've said to quite a few times before the season started that Brighton were a team to keep an eye on this season, because if they can keep hold of Basuma, they've bought this midfielder called Mupu, and he's sensational. He's come through the academy and the ranks and that with Daka, and both of the dreams were to get to the Premier League. But he's phenomenal. He's not going to last at Brighton, put it that way. He'll be signed up by a big team in a year, 2 years. But they were good against Burnley. But Burnley, if I look at the stats now, they had 14 shots. Now Burnley are usually a team who sit back. I mean, against us, they're not going to play how they did against Brighton. They probably went for the game more, Brighton. But they got passed off the park, 35% of the possession as well. So I think does that the only target man? Yeah, it is Chris Wood. But they've got a full fit team. Obviously, we've got to be worried. They took the Anfield record off us last season, but
yeah,
I'm not.
That wasn't a proper Anfield.
Exactly, and it's just not a. It's not a proper. It's not a proper. Like, worrying side. Even when you look at the bench, I mean, they had against Brighton, they had Ashley Barnes on the bench, but they've got no exciting players, and I don't think I can't think if they brought anyone in this summer. No one that I'm aware of. Or they might have.
No one that's made any waves or made the news or anything, or there's been no like anyone that you'd raise your eye and gone, Burnley have got to.
Yeah. But that's interesting though, isn't it? Because they've just been bought out. So this was the first summer since the takeover, and I'm going to have a little look now for the Burnley signings, because I don't understand if they haven't bought anyone, because I'm sure they've just been bought out. So that
I didn't even know they'd been bought out, to be honest.
Yeah, they got bought out. I think it was just after the January transfer window, or during the January transfer window. Nah, they've brought in
someone you've never heard of, probably.
4 goalkeepers.
Shut up.
Oh no, sorry, 2 of them were their goalkeepers, and they've just returned back from a loan. Or 3 of them, sorry, and they've brought in Wayne Hennessy from Palace. They've brought in Nathan Collins from Stoke, a centre back, paid 12.6 million for him. He's only 20, and they got a centre back called Jacob Bedo. They got him from Scunthorpe on a free transfer. So no, they haven't brought anyone massive in. I mean, they've sold Ben Gibson to Norwich. He was a decent centre back for them, but not a massive for them. I mean, we have had a massive summer, but it's just the same Burnley that we know and hate.
Yeah. It's completely like nothing else. Nothing that we're not going to expect from Burnley. Back to the Norwich game, I forgot to mention Alisson was fantastic.
That save was amazing.
It was a triple save, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where he went down to the ground and then he tipped it and then he pushed it up. Just like that's as good as a goal for me.
I mean, it wouldn't have affected the result, but to do that in the first game of the season,
it just shows that he's where his mind's at. It doesn't matter that we're winning 3-0. I've got to make this save regardless. Like,
yeah, I think with the Liverpool squad, everyone's writing us off. We said this last weekend that I'm more confident we're going to win the league. You've got money on we're going to win the league, and every Liverpool fan is quietly confident. Well, I mean, I'm not quietly confident. I'll shelter from the rooftops, but I mean, like, most Liverpool fans are quietly confident this year, and I think it's when you look at it, Alisson towards the end of last year just lost his dad and couldn't go in for the funeral, so his head was everywhere. Klopp again lost his mother, I think.
I think it was when he couldn't get over there.
Yeah, and he couldn't get over there. I mean, I know Fabinho has just lost his father. May he rest in peace. That came out today. That is, his wife Rebecca put it on Twitter that he'd lost his father, so that's why he won't be involved in the game at the weekend. He's probably going to have a grievance break, like we've seen Alisson have last year, and rightfully so. Hopefully he can actually get back to Brazil though, because there is flights in that now. But last season, we had 2 Klopp and Alisson, 2 spines of the team, lose family members and they couldn't go over for the funeral. Now they've been home and spent time with the families over the summer. I know Alisson was playing for Brazil, but they've spent time with their families. Klopp spent the summer with his family, and the whole team just looks revitalised again. And
yeah, that's the perfect word for for how we looked against Norwich. He's revitalised.
We just looked like Liverpool again, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it was so good to see. And I couldn't think of a better start to the season, to be honest.
I mean, when I seen a Norwich game, I knew it was 3 points. It always is when you play Norwich first game of the season.
Yeah.
But they have got a good side, and like Cantwell's a good player. I mean, Pukki, he's a good striker, but he never set the Premier League alight. He had a few good months to start, didn't he, in the last time he came up. But they've got Cantwell, who's sensational, but they have lost Wendia, who was massive for them as well. So it was a guaranteed 3 points for me. I'm a bit more worried about the Burnley game just because it's one of them. It's one of them teams. This game's going to be interesting because Liverpool's never had a plan B, and teams against Burnley is where you need your plan B. So speaking of that, who are you going to go with?
Right. So it'll be Alisson, Trent. I'll go Konate and Verge centre back. Simikas left back.
Yeah.
Fabinho's missing. He's going to bring back, I think, either one of Henderson or Thiago. I don't think he'll put them both in.
Do you not reckon? If they're both ready?
I don't think he'll put them both in. I don't think so. I'm going to go with Henderson, Milner, Keita for the midfield. I think Thiago will come off the bench. And I think he'll start with that front three again with Jota, Mane, Salah.
Interesting. I don't know, because Klopp will just throw a spanner in the works and probably start at RPL.
He throws a mad one in somewhere, like.
I mean, I think Konate, he's gonna play eventually, and it feels like the perfect game. But then, see, it feels like I'd rest Van Dijk for the Chelsea game, but then it's at Anfield, so he's not gonna rest Van Dijk, and then it's like
Van Dijk's not a player you rest.
Exactly, but then it's like, but Joe Gomez, he's fit again. So does he start maybe? And I just don't know who to go with. But I'll take a punt and then we'll speak about the teams. I'm gonna go with Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Gomez, and he's gonna come off in the 60th minute for Konate to make his debut. I'm gonna go with Simikas. I'm gonna go with Jordan Henderson playing the holding role, captain's return to Anfield, and then I'm going to go for Naby Keita and Diox in midfield, and then I think he's going to start Manny, Salah and Firmino.
Okay. You know what? Either of them teams, you're confident, aren't you? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Out of that main squad, anyone can play and you're confident.
I think with Keita, he can't be dropped. The performances he's given, you can't be dropping Naby Keita. So he's got to start.
If he stays fit, he's one of the fittest names.
Yeah.
But he's got to stay fit.
I mean, Curtis Jones is back as well. Would I be surprised if you've seen Curtis Jones or Harvey Elliott start? Probably not.
No.
Henderson might be on the bench, potentially might start. I just feel like with it being at Anfield, it makes sense to start him. But I do think he'll go with Gomez purely because he'll want to give Konate the run out at Anfield. But because Burnley's such a difficult side, Gomez knows them better than Konate. But then is he ready for 90 minutes? Probably not. So he could probably do 60 and then him come on. And then Konate's going to get that standing ovation just for him. And that's all I'm thinking. Like, Klopp's a very, very good at man management, isn't he? And for Konate, it's going to be amazing stepping on the pitch regardless. But if he gets that individual reception, whether he starts and comes off after 60 or comes on at 60, if he gets that individual reception, it's a bit different, isn't it, than just starting.
Yeah, and look, there's an argument for any of them starting.
It's mad, isn't it, that we're talking about which centre-back has these 4 world-class centre-backs to start the game of football. Yeah. It's crazy, but I just don't know who he's going to start. Because it's mad, because when you're looking at the team sheet here, everyone's fit bar Robbo. Literally everyone. So, and this is the headache Klopp's got. So this is what makes me less worried about transfers, to be honest. But I really, really, really want to see Bobby. Really want to see him. Just because for me, it just makes sense to be stood on that cop tomorrow, seeing Bobby Firmino. It's like he's just different with that Anfield, and he's revitalised, and I feel like he's going to want to score because he's so close to Fabinho. He's probably going to have some tribute to him, something like that.
Yeah, he will, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't get. I want to see Jota because it's mad to think that like I want to see Thiago. I haven't seen Thiago yet. Do you know? Because I went to the Sunday friendly and he played the Monday one, so I haven't seen Thiago in the ground yet. We haven't seen Jota yet. Jota played in the Sunday game, but it's just mad to think that some of these players we haven't even seen. Like I really, really want to see Thiago, and I want Thiago to play with the fans as much as Jota. So it's a massive headache.
The fans at Anfield happy either. So
no, we've got Minamino hasn't witnessed a full Anfield. I don't think because he signed in January.
I think he has. Has he?
He's at the friendlies.
He did as a Salzburg player.
Yeah, but I like he did in terms of like this is his first I think Premier League game with a full Anfield because he signed in the January. There was defo COVID then, wasn't there? Or was it the March, David?
No, it was the March. It all.
Yeah. So
I think he did get a few games.
So it's Minamino onwards. So it's like Konate,
Thiago, Tsimikas.
Yeah. Even Harvey Elliott, has he played a Premier League game for Liverpool, the full Anfield?
I think he has, yeah.
See, COVID's been on for so long, I just don't even know what happened anymore when dates were, but...
I don't think he's played Prem. He might have got a sub appearance.
He's played in the Cups. He definitely played the Cup games, yeah. But I don't know if he's played Prem, so even him coming on... So, I mean, the ground tomorrow is going to be... It's going to be electric, but different. I mean, there's going to be a tribute to Andrew Devine in the Cup before the game. And then I've seen so many tweets about it looks as though all the banners, like a European night style of banners, are coming out on the Cup.
Bumps all over.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm in 306. I think I'm actually in the safe standing tomorrow, which is going to be decent to see what that's like. But just to be in the Cup and... it's going to be mad because obviously we're going to be paying our respects to Andrew, so that's like...
It's going to be emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking, like emotional, and then it's going to be electric, and it's just it's the perfect welcome back to Anfield. I mean, it's not perfect what happened to Andrew. It's tragic that he's now lost his life, but I mean, in terms of getting the fans emotional, because Liverpool fans emotional are a different breed. They're a completely different breed. We've seen it in European nights, the emotion that goes into it. So I don't think Burnley players...
We're just not allowed to sing about Chelsea anymore, are we?
No.
We'll just leave that one there.
It's a madness, really, because my only gripe with it is if you're going to sit and sing and say you can't sing that, I mean, it is offensive. Let's take it for what it is. It's offensive to that community, but... It's also offensive when all the Premier League sing thieving Scousers and feed the Scousers over Christmas times. So why can they sing that? Do you know what I mean? They're insulting us. So football's always had insults. You know what I mean? It's gone on for absolutely years, and
where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line at acceptable levels of?
Yeah, because there's been horrendous ones over the years.
You want to call it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's been absolutely horrendous ones over the years when Liverpool fans have said about Munich, and United fans have said about Hillsborough as well. There's been things that shouldn't have happened, but it just feels as though everything's under a microscope these days. And should it be sung? Probably not. But should it have been made such a big deal of? Probably not. Liverpool could have just emailed all the supporters if they wanted to. And that'll everyone who goes to the ground. Honestly, do I think that if Billy Gilmore was playing at Anfield, it'd be that loud? Probably a few fans singing it. But it's been highlighted because Norwich were silent and the Liverpool's 2,000 fans were raring to go to the match again. But yet they shouldn't have sang it. It's been sung for years though, and no one's been bothered. So why? I know it's been getting sung since at least 2004, 2005. That's my earliest memories of it. So why has it took 16 years for it to...
It's one of them. The levels of acceptance have changed since then. I think that's the issue, isn't it?
That's just a topic for another podcast. It was when they took Little Britain off Telly Ste. That's when I started losing me shit. Yeah. To be honest, but yeah. So what do you reckon the score then for the Burnley game? Do you reckon it's going to be a hammering?
5-0.
Ooh. 5-0. Who's going to score them 5 goals for you, Steve?
So we're going to have Salah hat-trick.
Oof.
And Firmino will come off the bench and score one, and I think Mane will get one as well.
No Jota?
No, I think he'll play well. I think he'll set a couple up for Salah.
Salah, I was going to... I thought I was going to go both.
That's the captain in the fantasy team.
I know I've put him as my captain now. I had Jota as my captain last week, and I thought it was a masterstroke because he scored the goal, and then obviously he come off for Bobby. So I was gutted but happy because obviously his points were captain, and then Bobby come on and ran the show. But then that now made me feel like, do I keep the Jota in my fantasy team? Because I feel as though Jurgen Klopp's going to be rotating him and Bobby all season. I'm going to go 4-0. And I'm going to go Salah's going to get one. Bobby's going to get one. Mane's going to get one. And Naby Keita.
Yeah. Say if anyone watching on YouTube, if you want to leave a comment on what your score's going to be, if you get it right, you get a shout on the next one.
Yeah, I'm not giving any more stuff away. You're rinsing me for 100 and...
Just give us a shout, that's all.
I mean, that Reds Cast League, we'll actually have a little look at that and see who's top. So top of the Reds Cast League, you can still enter it, but you'll be behind by 99 points because Gary Schofield is absolutely killing it. He had Salah as his captain, he had Fernandes in his team, Mikel Antonio in his team, Colin Wilson in his team, Simicast, Robbo, absolutely smashed. He's on 99. But then, I mean, there's a few players from 7th up is 90 plus points, from 92 to 99. Yeah. So it's a very tight league. I mean, I'm currently 23rd. We've got 31 people in it this year. Last year we had 5. So yeah, it's a good progress. So someone is going to win. Someone's joining it next week. Apparently you've got a request there. So yeah, what'd you say?
How am I getting on?
You're definitely above me. I can't even see. You're 17th, 76 points.
Oh, crap. I'll have to have another good week here.
Yeah, I mean, you fell for it. Like I've learned, I'm taking all my Man City players out my team because John Stones had just signed a new contract for me that was confirming that he was staying at Manchester City, and then he didn't play a single minute in the open weekend, which I was just a bit like, okay then, Pep, nice one, mate.
Yeah, nice one.
I think John Stones was selected by like 40% of people as well, so I think Pep's ruined quite a few people's fantasy footies this week. But I mean, I've got to I think I made some changes actually, to be honest, this week.
Just to confirm on the shirt as well, you don't get your name and all that on the back like our Liam. My cousin is in that league, and he was top after the first day, and he's like, I think I'll have this name on the back. I was like, you can think again.
You getting the player worn jersey? Well, a player worn the buddy player version, whatever. They're dead expensive one off Nike anyway. But yeah, I've made some changes because I had Saw on my bench last week, and then thankfully someone didn't play. Who didn't play? Daka didn't play for Leicester, so Saw ended up coming in and getting me the points. But I'm keeping my faith in Daka again this week. I'm keeping my faith in Grealish for one more week, even though he was garbage. Did you watch it?
Yeah, he was too busy throwing himself on the floor, wasn't he?
Yeah, and we said in the last week's pod that he's gone from being a big fish in a small pond to a little fish in a big pond, hasn't he?
Yeah. So he like I said last week, I don't think he'll make a blind bit of difference up there. Decent player, but they've got plenty like that.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm just hoping Leeds are playing Everton. So I've dropped all my Leeds players, fancy for this week.
Really?
Yeah.
And Rafa's going to do a number on him?
Well, they've got Andy Lonergan now, so he's best in Jordan Pickford, so...
I've just seen that.
So he's a Premier League winner. They got a Premier League winner in the squad finally, the Blue Billionaires. But I took them out. I do think Rafa's going to do well at Everton. I've said it all season. Saying all season in the pre-season, I've said that I do think Rafa will do well, and if they give him time, he probably will win a trophy for them. We're part of a footy show now on KTC Live, and we were discussing it, and There's Liverpool fans saying, like, I don't know if he'll do well at Everton. I'm not overly bothered. And I said, if they give him time, he's going to win them something. But
Yeah.
I had,
James Rodriguez, by the way.
I had that.
Yeah,
I don't know if he'll be playing, but I had that Junior Firpo right on my bench last week, and because Woody players did, because John Stones didn't play, he got subbed in and got me a -1 point.
Ouch. Oh,
Disgusting. So he's my second choice sub, and I've got Saint Maximin on the bench now. I'm just hoping that Emmy Martinez figures out how to save a shot again, because I think everyone had him in goal and he got us all 2 points because he was crap this week. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. What score? I said 4-0. Yeah, you said 5-0. We'll take either of them scores, to be honest with you, because it means that we'll probably be sitting top of the Premier League table by the next time we speak, which we play Chelsea next Saturday. Big game. Before we then have a little break. International break again already.
I hate them. Proper hate them.
3 fixtures and then you're going off on an international break.
I mean, it's no surprise because it's the same every year, but it's just a massive.
It makes no sense. It just makes absolutely no sense. I mean, September's a good month to us, to be honest. We play Leeds, Palace and Brentford. I think that's 9 points. I mean, obviously next week's going to be a tough game, but I can see us winning every single game this year. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, not want to get carried away, but you know.
Yeah, I get carried away all the time, me. But yeah, nice one for coming on, Ste. Don't forget to give a like rating if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. I can see all you people watching the video who aren't subscribed. 80% of you. Just click the subscribe button. Take you 2 seconds. Helps us out a lot. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, and that, do follow the podcast. Do give us a rating as well on Apple. We've got quite a few good ratings there and on Spotify. So yeah, nice one for listening. We've been Redscast, and we will see you after the Norwich game before Chelsea next week sometime. Adios.
After Burnley.
Yeah, after Burnley. I'm tired, Ste. It's 8:30. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see you next week. Up the Reds.